Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the new Selena Gomez makeup line, Rare Beauty. I don't know about you, but my YouTube subscriptions feed has been flooded with reviews on this makeup line since it came out a little over a week ago. I was going out of town the day after the brand launched on Sephora, so I didn't order anything online, but I knew I was going somewhere where there was a brick and mortar Sephora that I could actually go check out the line in person. Even though I couldn't use any of the testers, at least I could sort of just see it in person. So I'm filming this video exactly 1 week after purchasing these products. I have been using them nearly every single day. So without any further ado, I'm going to walk you through all 6 products that I purchased. No, I did not purchase everything in the line, and I'll tell you why shortly. So let's get started. And if you've watched other Rare Beauty reviews, you have already probably heard about the reasons for the way the packaging looks, the reasons that there are balls on the tops of several of the products. And in case you haven't heard, I think it's important to note that she did that because she wanted people with arthritis or lupus to be able to easily open the products. And even the lipsticks. The packaging almost seems like flimsy because it doesn't feel very secure. The top moves around. So let's say you're someone who normally buys luxury makeup and is used to just fancy packaging that seals really tightly. You're going to be thrown off by this. But once you understand the reason behind that, it makes sense, and I'm all for it. My grandma is going to be 96 years old in a couple of days, and she loves to wear her lipstick, and I know I've seen her struggle with the lipsticks that I've given her. So I really feel like the packaging was very thoughtful and kind. I also find the price point to be very reasonable, especially when you compare it to all of the other brands that Sephora carries. So let's start with the foundation and the concealer. With foundation, it's really difficult to create one that's good for all skin types. Someone who is more oily like myself, we tend to like a more matte finish, something that's going to refine the look of our pores. But then some people obviously have very dry skin, especially as we get older. I would say that more people in my age demographic have dry skin versus oily. So I know a lot of my dry skin viewers that I've gotten feedback from over the years have told me that they prefer something that has more light to medium coverage or sheer coverage, buildable to maybe medium, something that's very skin-like, something that's dewy, hydrating. So when I read the description of this foundation saying that it was medium coverage with a natural finish and it was good for normal, dry combination and oily skin, I was skeptical. But I did like reading that the foundation is free of sulfates, parabens, formaldehydes. The product is also vegan and cruelty-free, which is awesome. And it comes in 48 shades, which is also awesome. But by the time I was able to get to the Sephora store, it was probably 2 days after the launch, and some of the shades were sold out. So I went with 250W, which is apparently Selena's shade. It's described as a light medium with warm peach undertones. I would have brought out my phone in the store to read the descriptions before I decided on this one, but I had a horrible signal. I could not get the page to load. So here is a demo of me applying the foundation one of the times that I used it. I am using a brush here, but I actually prefer my sponge. I have also tried this foundation with and without a primer. On this day, I did not use a primer. I did not purchase the Rare Beauty primer because when I heard that it was a radiant primer, being as oily skinned as I am, I had a feeling that would be a no-go for me. I prefer to use more mattifying primers or pore refining primers. So the first time I applied this foundation, I really did like the feel and the coverage. It reminded me a lot of the new NARS matte foundation that I love. However, it does not have the pore refining capability of the NARS. When I applied that one for the first time, I was just shocked at how my pores seemed to vanish even without a primer. And sadly, that did not happen with this foundation. I actually found that it emphasized a little bit of dryness that I didn't even know I had in my T-zone. I'm very oily through my T-zone, and no other foundation has ever made that area look dry except for this one. It also did not have great staying power. This is some footage of me wearing the foundation after about 9 hours. The foundation had not only disappeared from around my nose and chin, but it also sort of pooled up on the sides of my nose. Yes, the foundation did look better and wear longer when used with a primer. However, it still did not impress me enough that I would put this foundation into my rotation. I almost forgot to mention this, but you could probably tell by the demo, the color was far too yellow for me. But that's what I get for purchasing a shade with a W for warm. Although my friend Stephanie Marie, who's also a YouTuber, she told me that she ordered a neutral shade that was also quite yellow. Now I do like a little bit of yellow in my foundation to counteract the redness, but there does become a point where it's just too yellow. And especially once it sits on the skin for a little while, it can end up looking a little off and leave you with some lines of demarcation. So sadly, the foundation is a miss for me, but I do want to move on to the concealer. I really like the consistency of this. I ended up going with the same shade 250W, which I normally don't do. I always try to go at least a half a shade or a full shade lighter with my concealer than my foundation. But perhaps Selena had that in mind when she was pairing up the numbers, because clearly this is lighter. And when I was looking at the other ones on the display, of course I couldn't use the testers. That's Sephora's new rule now during COVID. All of the other ones that were there appeared to be much lighter than this. So I was afraid that I would choose one that would give me reverse raccoon eyes. So even though it's difficult to tell with this frosted bottle, I felt like it would be an okay color, and it turns out that it is. Once again, it's a little bit more yellow than I typically reach for, but it's a nice formula. It doesn't look heavy or cakey. The only caveat I have with this is that it's not super high coverage. At least to me, it wasn't. I thankfully don't have extremely dark circles, but I have dark circles, and this just did not cover as well as some of my other go-to concealers. So if you're someone with mature skin, but you don't have super dark under eye circles, I think you'll really like the finished look. Okay, next up are two of my favorite products from the line. I purchased the Soft Pinch Liquid Blush in the shade Love, which is described as a terracotta, but I would say it's a little bit more of a rosy red pink shade. It goes on quite red, but it blends out to the perfect soft rose, and you can up the intensity of it if you'd like. A little bit goes such a long way with this product. As you can see here in this demo, I use just the tiniest bit to start, and then I build up. I find that it does dry fairly quickly, so you do have to blend it in fast. This product is excellent, but it can easily go very, very wrong if you use too much. So trust me when I say you just want to use the tiniest amount. I absolutely love the way this looks on my cheeks, and it stays on all day. It doesn't emphasize texture. And it's gonna last you forever because you are using such a small amount. There are dewy blushes and matte blushes. I went with the matte because A, as I mentioned, I have oily skin, and B, I wanted to try a highlighter. And I find that if you use a dewy blush and a highlighter, it can be a little much, especially on more mature skin. So I am in love with the shade Love, but I will definitely be trying some other shades because this formula is so good. Now next up is the Positive Light Liquid Luminizer Highlighter. I purchased the shade Transcend, which is a rose gold. There were a couple of other shades that I was interested in, but they were already sold out. So I decided to go with this one, and I am crazy about it. If you are someone that, once again, has more mature skin, but you are scared of highlighters, you stay away from highlighters because most of them are just too glittery, they emphasize texture or large pores or fine lines, and you're also looking for one that's not crazy expensive, check out these luminizers. It's $22, but just like with the blush, you are going to have this for such a long time because a little bit goes such a long way. I honestly cannot get enough of this. I really think this is going to replace my Holy Grail highlighter, which has been the Hollywood Light Wand from Charlotte Tilbury and the Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is So good. Before I move on, I want to mention one thing because I know my regular viewers, they listen carefully. And you might have seen my video where I talked about products I'm no longer going to buy. I mentioned highlighters in that video. I said I'm out, I'm not buying any more highlighters. I have way too many already. So many of them look similar on the skin. Well, I'm sorry, I did feel like this was justified because I am trying out a new brand and it just looked so great for my fellow 40 plus viewers, and I'm always looking out for you. That's my justification. I did it for you. I bought it because I wanted to let you know if it was any good, and it is. So I'm glad I caved. But what I didn't cave on is buying a liquid eyeliner. I also said in that video that I was no longer buying liquid eyeliners, and so I did not buy this one from Selena's line. I also did not buy any brow product. I am perfectly satisfied with all of the brow products I currently own. But I did want to try some of the lip products. So I purchased one of the With Gratitude lip balms, and then I purchased one of the lip souffles. Now, as far as the color selection goes for these lip products, they're not really my style, I guess you could say. I don't typically wear bright lip colors or dark lip colors, especially matte ones. But that's really, in the lip souffles, all there was. Everything was either very bright or very dark. This one is the shade Courage, which is described as a nude mauve. However, it is much more mauve on the lips than nude, I feel. I actually have layered the two products. This color alone really doesn't do much. It's a very natural, everyday, my lips but better color, and the formula is really, really nice. It's very lightweight. It does feel like a whipped souffle. It sort of reminded me of the new MAC Powder Kiss liquid lipsticks. Very just comfortable on the lips. But I just think that the color selection, for me personally, I mean, if I've seen so many other influencers use the bright red or the bright pink alone, and it looks stunning on them. So I might try a bolder color, I don't know, but I went with the safe choice, which was this shade. And then I went with a similar shade in the balm. This one is called Support. And for a balm, these are extremely pigmented. They're creamy, they're comfortable. I'm wearing it over, as I mentioned, the lip souffle. And then I also, to give my lips a little bit of dimension, added a touch of the luminizer to the center of my lips. So that's what I have on right now. So if you couldn't tell already, the standout products for me are the luminizer and the liquid blush. The concealer is sort of meh for me, and the foundation was just a no-go. I'm sure I'll probably receive some comments saying that I used too much foundation or too little foundation, or it works best if you use the primer that goes with it. And all I can say to that is I did try using less. I did try using more. I didn't obviously try it with the Rare Beauty primer, but I tried it with the Hourglass primer. I tried it with the Smashbox primer. I tried it with, what other primer did I use? I can't think of it right now, but over the past 8 days, I have tried it so many ways, and it's just not for me. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button and become part of the Risa Does Makeup family. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under the same username. It's all Risa Does Makeup. So that'll do it for this one. I really look forward to seeing you again in my next video.